Welcome aboard Skylark Outdoors here, and today we're going to review the Cobia 285, which we've got right here, and take you for a tour on the Cobia 285. So this is a center console twin engine outboard boat, which we've got right here. We're going to do a walkthrough and show you some of the unique features of this boat, and then I'm going to go over the specifications. But overall, pretty impressed with this boat in some of the features that it has to offer. It's outfitted with twin Yamaha 300 V6s. However, you've got a variety of different power packages that you can put on this with a 700 horsepower max. So you can see there's a generous swim platform on the back. You've got a large live well in the back here as well. And that live well is 43.5 gallons. And then you've got a ladder for access as well as a rear door. And then you're going to have a tuner door on the starboard side as well. You've got some rod holders here, as well as this is a pretty cool little washdown. I wasn't sure what it is, but you've got your freshwater washdown there, and then a scupper. You've got twin fish boxes here in the rear, and then you can see that's your tuna door. And then in this aft section, you also have a seat that folds down for extra seating, but that's that generous live well with a clear topper, which I like. And then you've got some additional storage slash a little cutting and bait cooler or a cool bait storage location if you had frozen bait there, so that'll just drain out the back. But I'm sure you could convert that if you wanted it to be a live well as well. And I could bet you could probably 2 to 3 people here in this rear seat, depending on how cozy you want to get. But it folds up real nice so that if you're fishing, it's out of the way, and you're not going to have that impede any of your traffic. You can see you've got some rod holders, gaff holders down here in the gunnels. You've got stereo. You've got a little cooler here. And then in the back, we've got a nice little cutting station as well as a cooler, or you could use that as a bait well. And then you've got a little sink there as well to wash off. And as we walk around, we've got a fish box here. This one is insulated, so plenty of storage here for fish, whatever you catch that day. And then you've got some more storage underneath the helm, and you can see those rod gaff holders there on both sides. And then you do have a ladder for that tuna door as well. It'll just hook right there, so that's nice if you want to land fish, and or if you are trying to just have a good time on the water and want it easy in and out. It's a little bit more substantial ladder, so it's nice to have 2 options for getting in and out of the boat, and depending on the day and how it's going and the wave action and everything, decide what you're going to use there. But having a side door is nice for those bigger catches. Here you've got twin throttle controls, and then with the Yamahas, you can have the joystick control as well. You've got plenty of seating up here in the bow area. You've got a seating in front of the helm, and then you've kind of got this V-shaped seating. The cushions aren't on right now, but plenty of storage there, and then a windlass. One thing I do like about this is they push that seating way forward, so you don't have a whole bunch of room up in front there in terms of just storage. Instead, you've got more seating, which I like for this size boat. And then you've got a head and sink here, so kind of like a full head shower area, and a plumbed head, not just a porta potty. And then you've got a mirror and some lights, which I do like. When you're cooped up in there, it's nice to have a little bit of natural daylight to be able to see what you're doing. Now, this is a little goofy. I didn't really like this. It's pretty simple, but it just says caution, don't just try and shut that. You pull that little tube there, but something to note, because I'm sure the first time you have a guest that doesn't see that thing, they're just going to try and shut the door and bend that tube, so you might want to be careful of that. Not my favorite way to shut that door, and I'm sure it'll probably get broken, but tell your guests so it stays functional as long as possible. Now, the Cobia 285 does have a lot of different stuff that I do really like, including this helm station. Nice comfy seats here, nice bolsters, and then you can actually move those seats and adjust them however you want. You've got a really clean layout here. Whatever switches you want, you've got access to, and then you've got the touch screen for your engine management, fish finder, all that stuff. And then you've got some storage up top, which I do like, these 2 bins here in the top to throw whatever you need in there. Spare marine radio. Maybe you want to throw an inflatable life jacket, something like that in there. And then they do have that little vent in the front, which I also like for on really hot days to get some breeze. Where if you don't have that, Sometimes you're not getting as much breeze as you would like on a hot day to kind of cool you down. And then with the twin engines, it is nice to have the joystick controls. And then you've got twin throttle controls here. And overall, nice layout for the helm area. And I do like that they also have a little bit higher uh, area in that helm for when you're standing so that you're not going to hit your head. So let's go over some of the specs on the Cobia 285 center console. It is 28 feet 5 inches in length. You've got a 9 foot 11 beam, so a little bit beamier of a boat for this size, and that's so that you can get offshore and you're going to soak up that chop, as well as the dead rise. You've got a 21-degree dead rise on this, so this is a true fishing boat. Take this thing offshore and go fish. You've got a 19-inch draft, which is great because not only can you go offshore, but with 19 inches, definitely puts it in the bay boat capable category. Some of the bay boats that we've reviewed on the channel have like a 17-inch draft, so this is not much more than that, but you get a little bit more offshore functionality and capability with both the length of the boat, the beaminess of the boat, and the dead rise on this hull, as well as overall weight. With the engines, you're at 7,250 pounds, so no problem towing this with your standard like Chevy 1500, F-150 standard size truck. No big deal there. You've got 231 gallons of gas. I love to see high fuel capacities on boat because that dictates your range and where you're going to be able to go and how far offshore you're going to be able to go on this boat. And with your cruise at around 27 to 28 miles per hour and 2 miles per gallon if you're at cruise, that gives you a really nice range, probably close in that 400 miles, depending on weather conditions, load, fuel, all that stuff. So just something to think about there. But the cruise on this is around 27, 28 miles an hour, 1.9 miles per gallon. And then you go through about 14.8 gallons per hour at that cruise speed. Now that's all engine package dependent. This one is with the 300s. You can also get it with 350s, and that would put you at that 700 horsepower max. So this is 100 horsepower under the max, as this one is outfitted with the twin Yamaha 300s. You've got the 21-degree dead rise and then a 25-inch transom height. You've got the 43.5 gallon live well. 2 insulated fish boxes. We're showing you one right now, and we showed you the other one on the other side. And then you've got that tuna door as well. So looked at a couple different Cobia boats on the day that I looked at this. And what I love about boat shows is that you get to see different manufacturers and how they do things consecutively, and things you like and things that you don't like on the boat, and the different gimmicks and stuff that you have. The things that I like on this boat are for this size, they pushed the anchor locker, windlass, everything forward, which gives you a lot of seating up there in the front, and then you get a little table, which I like. Sometimes what you'll see is there's more storage in the front, or that anchor locker takes up a lot of space, and that cuts up into your seating that you're going to have up here in the front. I would rather have more seating to be able to get around, and you can move that table obviously, but I like that pushing that further forward. Just gives you additional functionality on the boat. So if you're a hardcore fisherman, no big deal about seating, but if you want to be able to take the family out, friends out, it's nice to have as many seats as possible. And then I do like that you get a full head here, built-in head, plenty of room for when nature calls out on the water. So that is nice, and you got a little sink here. You're definitely going to be able to use this no problem. So I do like that. I don't like that little, I don't know, they got to figure out something different for that. But maybe it works for some people. I just don't like the how that is. I just feel like that'll get broken, and there's a better way to do that. But overall, it swings well, and then you've got that helm seat in the front. So you got a couple seats in around that table. You got this helm seat, or in front of the helm seat. You've got 2 helm seats, and then you've got that rear seat that you could fit 2 or 3 people. So definitely this is a fishing machine, fairly easy to tow, lightweight in this size. So that's another positive in this, that you can just go with your standard 1500, 150 truck, no big deals there. And then really the fuel economy on this thing is pretty surprising at around 2 miles per gallon. You're seeing more and more boats of this size being able to reach those fuel economy numbers, which would have been unheard of in the past, and I like that. And then you've got a 61.9 mile an hour top speed if you've got the twin 350. So nothing to joke about there. That's definitely some awesome metrics. The 61.9 mile an hour top speed, and then you've got the 27 to 28 mile an hour cruise at 14 gallons per hour, and then outfitted like a fishing boat. And what I like is most of the hardware is standardized, so as time goes on, things break, wear out, whatever, you're going to be able to replace that. I do not like custom hardware. I probably mentioned that multiple times in multiple videos, just because then you got to fabricate something special, or you got to wait for stuff, and boat manufacturers and boats change so much that it is really hard to get stuff 10 years down the road, 20 years down the road. And if you're making an investment, being able to maintain the investment is one of the things that I appreciate. So simplicity, easy to fabricate parts, easy to find parts is something that I do really like, and I think Cobia hits that on the head, as well as the versatility of this boat with its relatively shallow draft, yet nice hull shape with a dead rise and a 9'11" beam, which makes it a little bit more stable in the water. Now, the one thing you need to consider, depending on where you live, is 9'11" may run you into some issues with towing, but that's going to be based on your location and your state laws and regulations. So just make sure you're aware of that. But at 7,200 pounds with the engine, not a big deal to tow this thing other than the width. Just be aware of that. So thanks for watching this review of the Cobia 285 center console boat. We hope you enjoyed this, and please subscribe. It does help when you support the channel. If you subscribe, give us that thumbs up or click any links in the description. That does help us create more content for you in the future and provide more outdoors content related to the things that you love. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.